Babylon, a city that became a legend and turned to ruins before it was even founded. How is that possible? To resolve this contradiction, we must race across 1,000 years of history. Searching for the origins of Babylon is like peering into a thick fog. We do not know who founded it, or when. The first shadows of the city appear in the 23rd century BCE, mentioned as Ka-dingir, the Gate of God. But these were humble beginnings. Around 2000 BCE, the world changed. Nomadic Amorite tribes swept across the plains. Out of this chaos, a chieftain named Sumu-abum rose to power, founding the first Babylonian dynasty. He didn't just rule, he built. He raised defensive walls, dug life-giving canals, and transformed an unremarkable town into the capital of a future superpower. The era of Hammurabi. Then came the sixth ruler of the dynasty, Hammurabi, a masterful strategist and a cold-blooded diplomat. He inherited a small kingdom surrounded by giants, but through calculated alliances and brutal sieges, he brought all of Mesopotamia to its knees. But Hammurabi's true legacy wasn't written in blood, but in stone. He became one of history's first lawmakers. On a massive diorite stele, he carved 282 laws, governed by the principle of talion, an eye for an eye. For the first time, justice wasn't a whim of the gods, but a foundation of society. He protected the weak from the strong, granted rights to women, and ushered in Babylon's first golden age. The Assyrian shadow. But empires are fragile. After Hammurabi, the light of Babylon faded, eclipsed by the terrifying iron might of Assyria. For centuries, Babylon was a puppet, a restless city struggling under the Assyrian boot. The defiance reached its peak under Sennacherib. Enraged by constant revolts, the Assyrian king decided to erase Babylon from the face of the earth. In 689 BCE, his soldiers filled the squares with bodies and smashed the statues of the gods. Sennacherib ordered the city burned and, in a final act of cruelty, breached the canals to flood the charred ruins. Babylon was gone, drowned beneath the mud. The Great Rebirth. Yet, you cannot kill a legend. After Sennacherib's death, the city rose again. Under Nabopolassar and his visionary son, Nebuchadnezzar II, Babylon reached its zenith. This was the city of wonders. They built the Etemenanki, a ziggurat so tall it inspired the myth of the Tower of Babel. For his queen, Amytis, Nebuchadnezzar created the Hanging Gardens, a lush mountain of green in a desert of dust. He raised walls so thick that 2 chariots could race side by side along the top. And at the heart of it all stood the Ishtar Gate, glowing in vivid cobalt blue, adorned with dragons and bulls, welcoming the world to the greatest metropolis human history had ever seen. The long twilight.
The gods are loyal to the crown, not the king.
But the sun always sets. After Nebuchadnezzar, the decline was swift. In 539 BCE, the Persian king Cyrus the Great walked through the open gates. Babylon survived, but its heart was broken. The final blow came decades later. After a failed revolt, the Persian king Xerxes devastated the city and carried away the golden statue of Marduk. The divine protector was gone. The canals dried up, the blue bricks crumbled, and the silence of the desert reclaimed the streets. Today, we know Babylon by its second life. The stones left by Nebuchadnezzar. But we remember it for its first. The legend that refused to die. The gate of God remains open only in our memory.